Recording button.
Hey,
Double tap to
mates.
activate.
Blind Prime here. Well, I go by Roquin now on this TikTok channel. But today I figured, why not show you how I clean my oven top? So I got some dirty dishes here on the oven. Some pots and pans from breakfast and last night's dinner. So I'm just going to set them over here in the sink. Try not to hurt myself doing it. There we go. For some reason, the last video I uploaded didn't really include sound, so I'm going to do my best to make sure this one includes sound. All right, there's my teapot. I'm just going to set the teapot over here off to the side and run my hand across the top of the oven, feeling for any detritus that may be there that's loose and big, and I can just kind of scrape it into my hand. All right, so all that stuff is gone. Throw it away. Blind people problem. I forgot to turn on the light. Whoops. See, us blind people, we save a lot of money on electricity because we don't use the lights very often. All right, so this oven top needs to get clean. Now, you can use industrial strength cleaners if you want to. Like, the sprays and stuff like that. But today, I'm going to show you how to do it with a little Dawn soap, hot water, and a sponge, because Dawn soap can clean your entire house, and I swear by it. So instead of reaching under the counter and trying to figure out which one of those spray bottles that feels exactly the same is the spray bottle I'm looking for without opening each one up and giving them a big huff, I'm going to use hot water and Dawn soap. So let me get some hot water started over here. We're just going to put the sink to the hot. Looks like I'm going to need to do the dishes again. There we go. Take off my shirt so I don't get it sweaty. Because cleaning the oven is sweaty work. Now, go ahead and, my sink is dirty. I'm going to clean my sink real quick by running the rag around inside of it, making sure any detritus that's around there gets washed away. There's a little rough spot, but there it goes. Clean as a whistle. Excellent. Go ahead and put my stopper in there. And there we go. Stopper's good. Squirt me some soap into my water here. Mix it up nicely. We don't need much water in our sink for this job, but it's always nice to have some, you know. I think that's enough water. We're not trying to mop any floors here. We're just trying to clean the oven top. So what you want to do first, what I do is I run the rag back and forth, or the sponge on the sponge side of things. And I just kind of run it all down the oven, making sure to collect anything else that is just kind of a material thing that's kind of gotten on the oven. All right, I'm just going to run it around the edge, cleaning that little groove around the edge of my glass top oven. There we go. Nice. And get that edge there because I didn't get it right. Perfect. Let's rinse it off the rag. Now we're going to flip it over to the rough side of the sponge. We're going to come around and use our hands to find spots on this glass top that are rough, like over here. There's a spillage. I can feel all that stuff there. So we're going to spread our legs just a bit and go down on our knees. They call this horse stance if you're a martial artist. So you get in horse stance, then you put two fists. I found that putting your fingers there doesn't work too well, but you put your knuckles on the rag or the sponge, and then you just kind of press down. And you're trying to use your body weight to clean the oven, but not stretch and strain your muscles too much. The idea is you don't want to be exhausted after cleaning the oven. You want to have a smooth experience. You just kind of flow with the cleaning. And flow with the cleaning. And you're just going to spin it in circles over here. There we go. And spin it in circles over here. Get that little spot there. Oh yeah, scrub-a-dub-dub. Come over here. I'm going to spin it in circles up here. I'm being very careful because I threw my rib. One of my ribs popped out of socket the other day, and I'm trying my best not to overexert it. If you ever had a rib pop out of your socket, it is not fun. Whew. nearly collapsed in pain whenever I tried to reach over and grab the toilet paper yesterday. You ever had a rib that pops out of socket? You know it's like a giant comes out of nowhere and squeezes your side until you can't breathe. It sucks. We're just going to scrub that bit a bit more. All right, I think our rag needs to be rinsed out. There we go. Rag's rinsed out. Come around here. Get back in our stance so we don't use too much energy or overstrain ourselves. The point is I'm showing you how to be lazy and clean. Remember, you can use your body weight to clean rough areas. You just have to be slow and careful with your movements. It's just easy and fun. I find cleaning things like an oven is pretty relaxing for me. You know, you got this job, it's got all these dirty bits and stuff to it, and then you just spend some time putting some elbow grease in it and working out all the little rough patches, and soon enough you have one beautiful clean oven. And that's always nice. I always enjoy that. You know, I can look at stuff that I've cleaned around the house and be like, yeah, I did that. I made it work. Alright, so we got these parts over here. Some of this stuff on the glass just never comes up. No matter how much I strain at it, it refuses to come up. Well, that one came up a bit, but there's still a bit there. Come on, let's drop down to our knees and really put our body weight into that spot there. Oh, yeah. I'm just going to scrub it in circles, just like so. Just small circles, just constant rotation in small, intricate circles. And when you feel that rough patch, you just keep circling it. Eventually you clean it up. All right, let's see. There's a bit more there. How's that coming up? It's not coming up too well. But over there, that stuff came up, and that came out. All right, I don't like that spot there, so we're going to rinse the rag one more time. There we go. All right, now let's come over here and let's attack this spot here that I didn't like. We're just going to put our knuckles back onto the sponge and get in our horse stance and just rotate things around. Like I said, the whole point, the way I clean, is I try my best not to use too much energy. I am lazy. I would rather clean smart than clean hard. And when you put your body weight into something, you don't really have to push down that hard on anything because you're letting your body do the work. So your muscles don't need to do that much work. Instead of pushing or things like that, you're using your muscles to drive and steer the rag. It's much, much easier than the other method. But here, I'm actually going to have to use my arm strength to get that little bit out. There we go. And we're going to use the arm strength down here and spin this guy in little bitty circles here. Come on, you. Yeah. Who's a good oven? You're a good oven. But that stain ain't coming out. That could, though. Let's attack that. I'm like the only person in this house that ever bothers to clean this oven. So whenever I'm gone for weeks at a time, doing other things, and I come back, I gotta clean this oven. I gotta scrub it down. Because all sorts of things get burnt on this oven and stuck on this oven, and it's never fun. I'm gonna call this a good job. There's still a bit more here that I can scrape up. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's coming up nicely. Yeah, I love Dawn soap. I just absolutely adore the stuff. Dawn will cut through any grease. It will cut through baked on grease. It will cut through anything. Hell, I'm pretty sure the stuff will cut through butter if you let it. So, get that little spot that's a bit rough and it doesn't seem to enjoy me.
Hannah Ritter 777, like your post.
There we go. And that's a spot there that needs to get got. There we go. Get my fingernails in there and just kind of scrape at that little spot. It's coming up. It's coming up. Come on, just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Who's a good glass top oven? You're a good glass top oven. Yes, you are. Let's scrub that area down now that I cleaned that spot out. Yeah. Who's a good oven? You're a good oven. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You cook my food for me. Yes, you do. And I treat you well because of that. Always treat the things that cook your food with respect and kindness. Because it really sucks when they go out and you can't cook your food anymore, so you might as well be nice to the thing. I'm a believer in being nice to machines. Then again, I'm one of those weird people that thinks everything's got a soul. And I believe strongly everything does. And if you treat it well, and you treat it nice, it will treat you well, and it will treat you nice. But you always got to remember with these things, you've got to do the maintenance. You've got to do the cleaning. You've got to make sure that things are operational. All right, that's good. I like that. I'm going to call this oven top cleaned. There's still some burnt on spots that I can't quite get. But that's looking good. Now let's go ahead and clean the buttons, and we'll call it a day. Well, the knobs. The knobs don't take much to clean, so we're just going to wrap our rag around that. And just kind of cut away any grease that's appeared from cooking bacon or sausages or whatnot. Stuff always gets stuck on these things. See? All right. I'm just going to come around here to this one. Scrape any of the grease off it that may have accumulated over time. And, you know, being blind, I like to make sure that that they're still locked after I clean them. Horror story I always think about is like leaving one of these burners on and then coming by later and accidentally putting my hand on the oven. That would suck. So I've always, oh, see, I accidentally turned that one on, but it's all right. I fixed it. Okay, so that one's cleaned. I'm gonna drag the rag between them, clean on this side too, clean that side and that side of it. There we go. And then we're gonna run the rag below, get any grease that's appeared, run the rag underneath it a bit, get any grease that may have accumulated down there. Make sure we get that top of that drip pan cleaned off. There we go. All right. Go ahead and empty my water. Rinse off my hands. Dry them off on my kitchen towel. And then finally, we come over here and we get some paper towels. You fold your paper towels up real nice. Make a nice little square. I like to use 4 paper towels when I'm making my square. And you just kind of come around here and just dry it all up. That squeak is what you want to hear. If you're not hearing that squeak, you didn't clean it. You've got to clean it till you hear that squeak. Flip it over because that side's now wet. Around here, make sure everything's dry. Go. And over there too. Scrub that side down. All right. And that's how a blind man cleans an oven. Now, there's still some stuff over here, but this oven's clean enough to eat off of. I washed it in the same soap I wash my dishes. Well, y'all have a great day. And I hope you have enjoyed the sexy blind man cleaning his oven. Until next time, peace.